Hello. Hello.
Just clicked on it, but I didn't know if I was starting the show or. Hmm? Yeah, I didn't know if I was gonna let Ron start the show, and then I was gonna come in as a speaker. Oh, that you hear me? Does I wonder if he knows? So we're live on the show, right? I think. Let's see. Hello,
There
you
we go.
there?
I had to unmute myself.
Hey, hey,
Hey.
technology.
Oh, the
Okay.
awesome technology is so I had issues today with the system.
Say again.
I had issues setting this up. And so I was on with support. And normally when you stop talking, support just like cuts off, right?
Mm-hmm.
They sent me 3 messages to make sure everything went through, and they stay with you till you get it up and running.
I
That's
wonder if
how
we,
awesome the support is.
I wonder if we can expect anybody to find the call today.
I did not share it yet.
Okay. So it should be just us.
Yep. I don't know where Ron is.
I mean, when I say us, I was including Ron.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I
um.
tried calling. Let me try calling Linda. Because I sent invites to both.
So you send out invites via text or email.
Email.
Okay. So those little pluses are. Let's see.
So what we can do is these pluses are for speakers and co-hosts. So we
Okay.
can send them to different people.
That's not.
Or,
Hmm.
hi, hang on. All right. Ron don't feel good, but he's going to try to muscle through. He's not listening.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. I was sending out the invite to like Country Boy and a couple other folks that usually join the show. I was going to text it to them. I just saw up there where it says share,
Yes.
and I was going to send that out. Okay, so I guess I could email it out, but I'll text it out. I guess I could do both.
We even have a cool countdown button.
Oh, okay.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
That's pretty good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's some pretty cool sound effects.
Yeah. Who else normally comes on?
Um, you have once in a blue moon, Queenie or whatever her name is.
I wonder what her what's her email? Oh, okay. I guess I
I
need
have no
to
idea.
yeah. I'll send this and then I'll do a text. Let's see. Got it. Thank you. Password.
And now we finally have a YouTube channel where all the shows will be uploaded onto YouTube. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
No,
Is this
no,
the
no, no. It's true.
That's true. He would
The dec-
always say
the
he's great.
declaration that you say is the
Yes,
declaration that
yes.
is.
He always says that.
Hey,
And that's
Rick.
why he's always doing awesome things. That's
Hey,
that's
Rick.
my secret.
Hey, Rick. We had a little surprise come in the mail yesterday. One of our suppliers. It's called Diamond Tours, and anybody that might participate in the travel industry, we have an incredible supplier. I know we have a gal in the organization that's been using Diamond Tours to go all over the country, including Niagara Falls, from down south or down from the Philadelphia, and come to Buffalo. And we were at a restaurant last summer, and this bus pulled up, and all these ladies got off it, and oh, it was family. And anyways, they were enjoying this restaurant we were eating at, and they were just on their way back from going to Niagara Falls on Diamond Tours. And it was
Wow.
the gal that we know.
And this one is
And this one's set up to go to Charleston, South
Charles.
Carolina.
awesome.
And they got a riverboat cruise, tea gardens, historic Middleton Place, and a historic goulash streetgrass basket factory. So that's a whole package here for under $900. Goes in January, February, July, August, all through these times together. It's a beautiful brochure. Received that in the mail yesterday, and
Wow.
thought I'd share. Since we are Travel Tuesday, and we're excited as we're looking forward. We have so many exciting events coming up this year, and new means and ways that Surge is really expanding our capacity to accomplish these things and make travel a great. Well, it's a pleasure. There's no doubt about it, but it's a reward and it's an adventure. And when you're promoting travel, what you're doing is you're helping more people dream. You're helping people have attitudes of accomplishment. And when you're doing those things, you don't have time to be, what's the word I want to use by um, the hecklers and the people that want to always want to get and stir up trouble. You don't have time to do that because you're busy planning a dream, a vision. You're fulfilling something that's put in your heart, I believe, from our God. And so
Amen.
we operate from a position of authority and we can claim things. And I know on May 5th of this year, there's a cruise ship called Freedom.
Freedom!
Doesn't they have a great
Freedom!
Freedom? And the Freedom is leaving Port Canaveral and heading to Turks and Caicos and Canary Islands.
There in a sound effect.
So that's an adventure. And what
Oh,
we're
man.
going to
Mary,
do
that
is
was
make
good.
these
Mary, you
dreams
need
come
another
true.
profession here. You need to be like the special effects person or something.
That's great.
Well, anyways, I came into the meeting. You guys had already gotten started, so I'll just mention what I was saying. That
Yeah, I
we
was.
haven't started anything, Ron.
Yeah, no, you actually started the show, Ryan.
well,
You didn't even know.
I didn't know
I'm
that.
actually sending out a text to Queen, Country Boy, the Aidens on the new link. If you look up in the top right, you'll see share, and there's a link that comes up that can be sent to listeners, posted on
Really
Facebook.
great.
I'm texting it. I actually copied that link, and I'm texting that link. New travel show broadcast podcast link, and I'm going to send that to a couple of people here. So I was doing that as you opened the show, Ron, that you didn't know you was opening the show so excellently with the Diamond Tours.
Sam Jacobs.
Okay, here.
Well, it's an exciting. We're at an exciting point in the history of the Optimize Your Life and Golden Rule Society. Many people call in, they may not realize it, but many years ago, I think it was about 10 years ago, there was a fellow named Burl Walk, and he was a pioneer. Him and his father were pioneers in a lot of things. You might remember a magazine called TV Guide. Well, he and his father invented that, started that publication, became the #1 world's magazine distribution. He also invented and ran the first TV info commercials. Back in the television first came into existence, there was downtime. There was only 2 channels, I think. It was NBC and CBS. And there was a lot of downtime. They didn't have much programming. Well, Burl had the insight to buy the time there was nothing on. And later on, when people don't, there's high times of TV and low times, and you get charged to advertise by the time. Well, he bought it when it was at the bare minimum and contracted it. So he was able to start and invent the first info commercials. And the first info commercial known that actually produced $1 million in sales was a little product. It was made out of iron and rubber, and a gal, blonde, sometimes known a little as a blonde-haired, blue-eyed gal. I'm not going to go any farther in terms of description there, but her name was Suzanne Summers, and she created the Thigh Master. It was the first product sold that made $1 million on an info commercial. Now he went on to help develop Ron Popeil. He had the fisherman, the pocket fisherman, and there were a lot. There's been many, many, many more. But anyways, Burl Walk was infamous in being a pioneer, and he started Blog Talk Radio, the very format that you hear every day on all kinds of shows. And people are talking about being on podcasts, and we're on podcasts today. Podcast started out as an audio commercial that would turn into hours and hours of broadcast. Not only that, countries. We now are in multiple countries because of the platform of podcast broadcasting. And today we now have moved into a new version because the original that Burl and his father founded has gone away. It was called Blog. That was the name of Blog Talk Radio. And so we had to move on to this new program that's been around, I believe, since 2006. They have a tremendous track record, and they've got services that we've not had the benefit of. And now we have available to utilize, and we'll be moving forward utilizing the show. We got some details we're still working out, and not everything is in place, but we want to welcome everybody that's listening in on whatever platform you happen to be listening in on. And so that's the great thing about what we're talking today, and talking about travel. And travel, the neat thing about it, I don't care if you don't own a car. We can help you create $500 a month. Now, that, to me, I think $500 is an important amount of money. For a lot of people, that's their rent. May not pay, in some places that doesn't pay for half the rent, but it's a good start. But we can help them, and I know because I've done it. So I can speak with authority that I can help someone that has desire and is willing to learn. We can demonstrate and put $500 in their pocket in 30 days. And that's through the travel business. And we can take and expand on that. We want to talk about, okay, $500 is not necessarily, not everybody needs $500. Some people need more. Some people would like to have a car. Well,
$500 would be a good chunk of your electric bill, if not your whole electric bill.
Yes.
There you go. So this is important. It's real. So we have a system that has a pattern, a program, and then attached with that program is a system, and there's training. Now, it's important to get training, but once you get training, you want to get certified. Mary, you are certified in the area of neurological diversity.
Correct.
I like that. I got that out in one sentence, one word. neurodiversity has been sort of the newer modern um, label that we might assign to children that might be autistic or might have other issues. Well, you are an expert in that area. You've been certified, you've been trained, you've gotten additional training. In fact, you've become cutting edge. You've built on what you've learned. And so now you become a spokesperson and a gal that's just a mother. You can certainly talk with authority because you have helped and are raising children that have neurodiverse issues. And you are changing the whole way the world is looking at that issue and how you have helped solve and are you're preventing issues from happening. And some of it is experimental. Some of it is just you have learned and utilized and tested. The key is testing. And once you've done that, now you get certified. And because of certification, when you speak about it, you have authority in it, and you can change the way things are for folks and change their family situations, the growth and potential. You can create happiness for families. And in the travel business, that's what we do.
That is
That's what
true.
we do, and that's powerful. We get paid to put smiles on people's faces. We get paid to make people happy. We get paid to show people that the world is their oyster, their playground. And it really is, and I love what you're saying, Ron and Mary. It really is spiritual. Play is spiritual, and people ask, well, why is that? Because it relaxes you, and it relaxes your ego that normally takes precedent in the regular workaday world, where you're always on edge. You're always trying to figure it out. You're always trying to do something, think something, be something. And when you're on vacation, all those guards come down and you just relax.
It's like the saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
No, what happens in Vegas stays on social media.
True, if you're dumb enough to use your social media.
No, 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 it's not you.
Cameras everywhere.
You may have no knowledge of it. You may go into a crowd and wonder why everyone's laughing or everyone's proud.
And if your kids are rolling their eyes and shaking their heads in embarrassment.
Okay, on the positive note, you may wonder why are they so appreciative of me and so proud of all the things that I do. Because there was a
Hey,
statement that you made on social media when you didn't know anyone's listening that you were king, you were queen, and everyone believed it. No, but it's interesting. But that's what we do. The guards come down when you're relaxing on the beach and you're
then you
ordering.
go into subconscious mode and you use your imagination. You're becoming more aware of your surroundings. You're just not
Yeah,
in single mode anymore and just
yeah,
living that
yeah,
routine life.
that's good. Yeah, that's good. You're not in that routine mode anymore. You're actually absorbing your surroundings now from a whole different, senses perspective. You're looking at the sunset. You're ordering, the virgin pina colada, whatever you want to drink. You're listening to the sounds of the waves, the kids and playing in the water and making sandcastles. You're observing your environment. You're feeling your environment. And just the thought of that, it brings up even just talking about it, reliving that place, that emotion, even just talking about it, which is amazing. I'm looking at a calendar here, and you know how the calendars have their little picture of the month, and this picture is a sunset. And it's like the sunset that you see when you're on a cruise ship and you're looking out over the water. Not sunset, but sunrise. I guess it could be either. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow. And if you've ever been on a cruise or seen an amazing sunset glistening over the water, that just brings out a feeling of peace. It connects you to nature. And so the things that we're doing is connecting people back to their source. And that's why it's spiritual.
And you're meeting
Ricketts.
other people from not your neighborhood. So you're meeting people from different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and that's so exciting too. So you're reaching out and and just experiencing different cultures and different accents and different ways of living,
Food.
different food.
I think what's really substantially changing for people that get involved, not just in the going on a trip is important. Preparing to go on a trip is important. But through it all and through the experience of it, we are being prepared. Our spirit is being healed from times when we have had disappointment or hurt. Our whole being becomes in a healing sense, and we have more chance to overcome more things and to become more, so that we can do more to help more. I'm sounding like country boy now. See, it takes each one of the things takes us to a new level so that we're able to be more effective and we live, and it is a better life. It is having a higher level of experience. And when being in that position, that's stretching us, it's causing us. I remember a little story I heard at a seminar somewhere one time about we actually were created like a lot of rubber bands. The only time we accomplish what we were made to do is when we're stretched.
It's good.
And you see, most of the time we go around, we don't want to be stretched. We want to be like a rubber band in the drawer in the kitchen where it's a junk drawer and there's a rubber band in there. No, but when that rubber band is taken out and wrapped around a bunch of celery sticks so they don't flop all over the kitchen or all over the refrigerator, now you can put a rubber band around them, put them in a Ziploc bag, and when you go to use them, you can chop them up or you can cut them into sticks so you can dip them in the dip. I mean, it allows the stretching of that rubber band allows something else to happen
That's
that
good.
only the action of a stretch makes it happen. And
Ooh, that's
so,
good.
as individuals, we are accomplishing that as leaders when we own something like a travel agency that allows us, it makes us stretch, but it also is allowing other people to stretch. So we're improving the livelihood, the depth, the quality of life. We're allowing people to expand and explore things that they wouldn't have if they just sat in the four walls and watched the TV. It's real.
Well, you got a little bit of preacher in you, man. You sound like a great Gideon speaker. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah. I was going to practice that one time, but I had 10 minutes.
Do you go over 10 or do you stay under 10?
My problem is I can't talk just 10 minutes. You
That's a
noticed
make
that
or break.
already.
That's a make or breaker. No, but it's so true. And that's why when people come back from vacation, they're able to stretch more. They're able to stretch. They have that flexibility to extend, because now they're relaxing, but that stretch, they can take more in. They may have been at their breaking point prior to vacation. I gotta go on vacation. I'm gonna, and then they go on
It's like
vacation.
kids on breaks from school.
Yes,
Yeah, you need the breaks.
you need to break, or you break.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of the winter here in Buffalo. I need a break. Now, last year at this time, I was getting they put a new contraption in my body. I got a whole new, I don't know how pounds it is, but it's probably a pound of titanium in my knee. And I just had a review by my doctor. And by the way, while we're there, he wants to go on travel. And he just started asking me what are the best places to go. And when he goes, he wants to just relax. He doesn't want to do anything. He just wants to go and veg out like on a beach. And so I told him about the Grand Palladium Hotel in Cancun and how you get there, and that they just treat you like they treat you like you are like, well, queen and king. They honor you in such a way. It's not subservient, but it's honorable. And you can go to any restaurant. There's 7 different restaurants. Breakfast, you can go and they'll make anything you want. We walked into it the second day we were there. They had our table, our place. I was on a cane that time because I just had surgery, and they took us to our table and they got my food. I didn't have to go up and get food at a buffet or anything. They took care, and they found out I liked chocolate milk for breakfast, cold chocolate milk. I had a fresh bottle of chocolate milk
Oh my
at
God.
my table every day we were there, and that
Wow.
was funny. I drank it, and I didn't finish putting the bottle down, and the gal was there bringing another to the table. You know, they make you feel like you're special, and
Wow.
then they try to help you realize that you are, and then they want you to feel like when you leave, you don't want to leave. We actually, the one place we were at, COVID was still going on; hadn't ended yet. And so we had to go when we went down. We had to pass tests, health checks. But they told us, they warned us. Now look at, if you don't pass the test, you got to stay here for 2 more weeks
On our dime.
at their expense. So we tried to fail the test. We did everything we could. We hung out with everybody. We went to restaurants every day. We went to the entertainment. We were on the beach. We were doing everything we could. We went on little carts all over the park. I mean, we
Oh
did
my God.
everything we could. And you know what? We felt great. Except when the nurse called and said, well, I got bad news. And we go, oh, this is great, right? Bad news. You got to go home. You passed the test. You're healthy. Oh,
You
wait a
did
minute.
everything but lick the sides of the boat.
The world is going around trying to figure out how they were they're wringing their hands and
Drink some of the
putting bags
water.
or put bags over their heads. They're doing everything, much of which is stupid. And
Uh,
they just didn't like common sense. And you know what? The reason through COVID, the reason I felt, now I know we lost friends to COVID. We have family members that died because of COVID. But that did not stop us from living or being. We had, and they had, and we had faith, with great faith. I believe part of our protection was our faith, that it's there. He said he'd protect us, and he did. Now we didn't do dumb things. Well, maybe going what we just said I did, we did, but we just felt we were safe. We were right. We didn't go around kissing other people. I mean, that we didn't know.
Ron, what's so interesting, and this is what fear does for people, and like you were saying, Linda, that's why travel is so important to be able to see other cultures, to be able to see other ways of life, and to try different foods from other cultures. Prior to us going to Mexico, because we went also to Mexico right during the COVID, right before the COVID or during the COVID, and everyone's saying, don't go, don't go, don't go. And then when we went, we found how strict their procedures were
Yes.
for keeping us safe. And especially compared to the U.S., where you didn't know what you was going to get based on people's crazy sometimes beliefs. But when we went and their procedures were so precise, to keep us safe, down to the mats and down to, of course, going into each of the restaurants and hand sanitation. All their procedures were so precise and just in place, and they've been trained on it. Everywhere you went, they followed the same procedures. There was a standardization for your safety. Had we not gone, we would not have had that experience.
Mhm.
And we would have stayed in our little bubble of fear, like only the US can do this. And we don't even do it right. So that means nobody else in the world is doing it right. And that's why they say travel is political, because when you go in and immerse yourselves into other cultures, and you go on the economy within other cities and other cultures, you begin to see that people are people everywhere,
Yes.
and we share a common human experience in every culture. Yeah, we got more here, less there, those kinds of things. But the nature of a human is basically the same. The family, basically the same anywhere in the world. And as travel being political, you now begin to understand that if you never leave your neighborhood, if you never leave that protective place, to step out and adventure, it's almost like the spirit. It is the spirit of an explorer. When someone says, "Hey, I know that the Earth isn't flat," you know, and I'm gonna go. I know it doesn't fall off at the end of the horizon, and I'm just gonna take my chances, and I'm gonna go on that cruise. I'm gonna go to Mexico. I'm gonna go here, go there. I'm gonna take a 15-day free cruise because I've taken this. My wife has taken this free training to become a Commodore with Princess Cruises, and we're going to do a transatlantic crossing that takes us 8 days to cross the Atlantic. And it's amazing once you get around the Azores and crossing the Atlantic, which is about midway, a little more than midway, that the waves that come up from the south hit the ship, you know, head on. I mean, straight to the side of the ship. And they're crashing. I'm like, is this ship going to survive this? They're crashing into the side of the ship, with such force and such power. You're like, oh my gosh. And that ship is just plowing the water. And it plows right on through to the Azores, to Portugal. And we stop in Portugal, in Portugal. We have time during the day in Lisbon. And we take that time in Lisbon and we're taking tours and we're trying the Portuguese tarts like up in Canada. That's why we had the
Yeah.
tarts. And because it was just like in Portugal, Lisbon. And we spend all that time in Lisbon and the different color, buildings and the cobblestones and different color cobblestones. And we're going up hills and down hills and it just had a beautiful time tasting their foods. And then we go on to Bilbao, Spain, Bilbao, where they have the Guggenheim Museum. And we spend the time in the museum. And it's just incredible artwork. And we're actually thinking about Country Boy and some of the things, his art that he has created. And it's like, man, his art is way better than some of these.
Yes.
But we spend that time, and we take a walk to go to the Moors area of town, with the old buildings and different things. And we're walking, and we really don't know where we're going. And we're downtown, and we start walking toward this neighborhood district where they said you have all kinds of different things, Moorish food and all kinds of different things. And we're walking, and we look back, and the high rises are behind us of the town, and we're walking like through a neighborhood. And I'm like, okay, Brenda, we have no idea where we're going. And the front porches got closer and closer to the curb side of the street, and people are sitting out on their porch. And we're walking, and it's getting darker. And we look back, and the city's back there, and it's getting smaller and smaller. It's like, okay, Brenda, I want to see this, but I'm not so sure we want to keep walking. We cross the street, get on the other side, start walking back towards town. And but the whole thing was amazing. Jump to Germany. So we're over. So the cruise lets off in Britain, in England, and so we said, well, let's take another couple of weeks and go over to Germany. So we jumped. We was trying to catch a military hop, but we couldn't. So we got a commercial flight going through Belgium. And Ron, every time you guys talk about German chocolate, with Belgium chocolate at the airport, which was
Oh,
like which was like a mall of all expensive luxury type stores. But we get to Germany, and we're on base, and we take a train and all that, and we get on Ramstein base in Germany. And we said, well, let's walk into Ramstein, the town, from the base. So we leave the base and we start walking to Ramstein, the town, which is probably maybe 5 miles away. And that's where we actually came in and got a cab from the train station going on base. So we said, but let's do the reverse on base and just walk into town. And so we start walking into town, and we get there, and just incredible. Along the way, we're looking at bakeries and even Chinese food, and all the different things that the German culture cuisine has to offer. We're just passing these restaurants, and we passed this cathedral, which was kind of haunted. Like,
Whoa.
so we're on one side of the street, and on the way we went, it was okay. On the way back, walking toward the base, of course, we stop at these bakeries and we pick up all these. I'm like, I want that,
Yes.
that, that. And it was in the day, so they wanted to get rid of all the stuff anyway. I had like a shopping bag full of pastry. And so we're walking back to the base. We passed this cathedral that we passed going to the downtown. And the downtown is like not downtown here. It's like one of those small towns from like some novel. But anyhow, so we passed this cathedral, and we're on one side of the road, and everything gets like gloomy dark passing this cathedral, like haunted, gloomy dark. And we're like, did you see that? This just like went away. All the clouds, I mean, it was like gloomy, scary, like one of those movies. And we're walking by this cathedral, beautiful, beautiful cathedral. And we're like, did you feel this? I mean, it was the most eeriest feeling I've ever felt. And so we get by there, and there's nothing like, and Mary's military, and she's been overseas. If you're military, you've been overseas, there is nothing like seeing an American airbase and getting to that guard and showing an ID and jumping on American soil on that base. You're safe. You're home. But it's political. It's political. In fact, going downtown, I had to go into this one little German grocery store, and I'm like, "Do you have a bathroom in here?" And they're looking at me, not knowing what I'm saying. I'm like, "A bathroom. I need to use the bathroom." Like,
And now you need to specify because you're now in Europe, so you need to use a free bathroom because a lot of bathrooms
hey,
over
you
there.
know that I had to pay 25 cents when I was in another place in Germany to use the bathroom. And I'm like, I gotta pay. I'm like, okay, I'll pay. What's your price? And I
Well,
go
when
in
we were
there.
in England, the bathroom was separate from the toilet room.
Oh my gosh! So I go in there. There's ladies walking out. I'm like, okay, this is kind of unusual. I'm like, am I in the right
Welcome.
place? Well, I'm looking around. Am I in the right place? There's ladies standing at the mirror. I said, oh, it's a unisex bathroom. Oh, I get it. I get it. But when I first walked in there, I'm like, did I walk into the wrong bathroom?
Yes.
But anyhow, it's political. I was in Mexico. Had to use the bathroom. I'm like, I guess it's baño, and but I
Spanish.
didn't know that, and so I'm like, I need to use the restroom. They're looking at me. I just pointed. Here, there. He said, "Oh, si, senor." But we have such an advantage. Travel is political, and people who travel, especially your kids, even Mary, when you guys went to you did your road trip to Buffalo, and your kids, and how they just you saw how they responded in Buffalo on the ship around new people in Ron's backyard.
We are going to be back in Buffalo for 9/11 this year.
Wow.
Oh, that would be cool.
Great. We're planning. Yeah, it's going to be a big celebration this year.
I was reading this article as you was talking about play, and I took some notes from it, and it says transform your life into play. It says take time to nourish your soul by living life in a fun, playful way. And as I mentioned, being playful is spiritual. And he says, because when you play, you relax. Your mind is more open to ideas. Creative imagination is heightened. There's stronger spiritual connection. You're receiving inspiration and guidance. There's you can better hear the God within you. You're breaking free from your regular routine. Your serious ego falls away. You're trusting God, and you're in a place where you can trust God to show you better solutions to problems that you may have. It says childlike and playfulness puts you in that position, even more so trusting God. And he says like attracts like, and we attract people into our life who are looking to play more. It says you when you learn how to help yourself succeed in that place, you will be drawn to people who will also help you succeed. Every next level of your life will require a new and better version of play. Wow. Everything you focus and put your attention on will eventually grow into your life. Solutions are revealed at the right time. You need to make a decision to move into playing a little more and bringing that into your life. And we're offering
That
people
is so cool.
a solution. Why is that? Because when people worry, I was looking at something this morning and it was saying how worry is another creative force, a negative creation.
Mm-hmm.
When you worry, you're actually creating something, more challenges, more things that you need to worry about. It multiplies. That's why,
Well,
Ron, go ahead, Mary.
you were bringing up the play thing and just relaxing. Think of back in military, back when you were in the Air Force and in the Army. We would screw around on our off time just to want something to do, but it helped relieve that stress.
It's true.
People gave us so much slack for some of the TikTok, or I guess back then it was YouTube videos that we made of us doing, dance routines to stupid videos in a combat zone on a base, in the Middle East. But that helped us deal with the situation,
I know. Isn't that amazing? That's
which is
amazing.
why we deal with things so much better. We're able to be sarcastic. We're able to screw around more.
You're absolutely right. Go ahead, Linda.
Well, I was thinking, how we talk about, traveling, have the adventure. But if somebody doesn't think they could be adventurous, we can still have there's guided tours. We have a couple that wants to go to Italy, but
Mm,
they don't know where everything is. Well, there's wonderful tours. They don't, and they would be safe because they're going to go with professionals. So you don't have to just go off on your own into the wild. But you can if that's what you want. But at the same time, there's alternatives, and so people can be adventurous in such a safe way.
it's
Yeah.
So
true.
there's something for everyone, with traveling.
It's true. It's true. My friend James Colbert, he lives up in Massachusetts, in Boston. He's coming down next Thursday, and he and his wife Missy are going to Savannah. And he was going to come to Charleston for his birthday on the 17th next week. And I said, hey, yeah, come. And then he called me back. He says, Rick, I think I want to try something different. We're going to go to Savannah. And he reactivated his surge business because he's been in for a long time but never saw it. And now he sees it. And so he reactivated his business. Well, I'm saying that when we reactivated his business, he said, I want to get my hotel through my site for Savannah. And the total cost was over $500. And so this is the first time he actually booked anything on his site. And so I walked him through it. I said, well, let's go into your members website. And he's like, wow, this is great, great. He saved a ton of money. And when we got to pay for it, it declined. And it was like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, oh, Lord. Jeez. Just got him back and now, declines. Does this thing really work? And so I said, okay, usually when it declines, especially if this is like your first time, the problem is with your bank. And I said, okay, let me call Surge 365 Concierge. And so I called them. They answered 10 o'clock, 10:30, and I told them the issue, and and they went and they looked at it. They saw the transaction. They saw it failed, and they came back and said, usually it's the bank. I don't know what they did, but they sent some kind of message to his bank and said, uh, Mr. Colbert, check your email. He checked, no, your text. I'm not sure which one. He checks, and it's a approval from the bank for the purchase. And I went, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew they could do that, especially 10:30 at night. And so he clicks the approval, and we complete the purchase, and he gets the hotel. And he's like totally impressed, as we know. But it's nice when someone who doesn't know is able to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went, wow, that's amazing.
Rick, one of the areas, thanks to your leadership and Lynn and I having the opportunity when we got started, I fell into working with churches sending groups to third world countries like Guatemala. And we had a church that I was working with, not my church, it was a church that found out I was doing mission trips. And the day they were leaving, they booked this a year in advance to go to Guatemala. So here it is. Then they booked it in April actually, and here we are in February, and there were 13 people. Now, when they booked it, the pastor and the church, the one of the people that was going on this trip was his daughter. Well, they had now adopted her. So when she gave her name to book the flights and book the trip, we had her name as it was when she was still not adopted. Now she made changes and she changed her passport. We also had a guy who, when he gave us his name, spelled it Jeffery. And when we got to the airport that morning, it was on his passport, Jer. It was different. Well, when you're checking into an airport to go somewhere, particularly a foreign country today, you better have your name on your reservation, and your passport has to be absolutely identical, or you don't fly. Now the plane, they were boarding already. 13 people. They had all the luggage and their special stuff that they were taking down with them, and they were boarding. But these two people were not going. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. Buffalo's in the middle of a snowstorm. In fact, the roads were closed. But we still got there to the airport, and I met them. I when I book a flight with a group that's going like this, I'm going to meet them and help them get off. And when they arrive, so when they come back. Well, anyways, I had a connection with Delta Airlines. I'd worked with them, and because they are so good, and I had a special telephone number to call, and I talked to a lady in Washington D.C. 4 in the morning, mind you, and we had I explained the situation. She had put us on hold for a few minutes. She came back and talked to the gal at the desk in Buffalo, and the next thing I know, she's telling them to go to the gate because, of course, they're boarding the plane. So she left. She printed something off and gave it to them. Well, then afterwards, what she explained to me is in Washington, D.C., they rebooked these people as standby. So they were able to override the issues that we were dealing with, the spelling of their names. Had I not had that connection and the support and the recognition that, we're travel agents and we're doing this, I know that none of that would have happened.
Wow, that's
So
true.
having the power of an organization like we have that we operate under the umbrella of and with gives us the answers and solutions that the normal person just wouldn't have.
That's awesome. That is just amazing. You're right, because we have access because we're partners in the industry. One other thing that happened as we're kind of wrapping up the show is that one of the guys in the business gave out a Vortex link and to his mom, and so she booked a rental car, down in Florida, and panic. I mean, he just had come into business. A lot of times people come in, they don't understand that it's really actually a real business and that the Vortex link is a real site that saves you money. But she booked through the Vortex and she kind of panicked. And I don't know what she did, but she hit, pay like 3, 4 times. And so he calls me. He says, Rick, I believe they're going to charge my card 3, 4 times for this payment to my mom, and we went to and got to the rental company, and they didn't have the car, and so he's calling me, and I say, okay, it's interesting when you get those calls. I call the concierge, and I let them know what happened. This is what I didn't know. They now have a Vortex department.
Aha.
So they connected me to the Vortex department. And they need good thing. The lady was there, so because they need the actual customer, and we can look in our back office because when they register. It shows up on the customer list, and with their also their ID number, the customer number, because they needed that customer number. And so since she was on the phone, she had a customer number. They looked her up and saw that she had tried like 3 times to pay for it. They confirmed that none of them went through. That's why you didn't get a net reservation email. And they were just so impressed that we had this kind of access. I was impressed because a Vortex department was new. I mean, I didn't know they had that before. And but now there's a place where the customers, if they have any issues or different problems, where they can now, and we would be involved in that process like you did for your customers, Ron, and show them and walk them through that process, connect them to the concierge. But the concierge said and confirmed, no, it didn't go through. You're not going to be overcharged or double, triple charged. And they went, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now she had booked, directly at the budget office where they went looking for the reservation. But she didn't know, they didn't see a reservation because it never went through. So she just booked regular. And but there is a Vortex department now. Now that we are passing out that Vortex link and we've got building up Vortex customers, it's good to know that there is a Vortex department if any of your clients have any issues in booking, especially like you're working with the churches, Ron. And so any of those the folks within the church, they can now at least contact the Vortex department.
Well, We're looking forward to sharing the Thursday night opportunity meeting that you're having, and being able to bring new people and people from a church that are going to help us put the establish. Michaela's coming over and going to listen to the presentation, so she's more familiar because she's going to be helping me to implement the program for the whole church.
Well, that's awesome.
And
That is awesome.
then, as she helps operate that and set that up, then the church is going to sponsor our pastor. They're going to sponsor our pastor and his wife, because that'll be one of their three and free. And they're looking to get started themselves to building a retirement fund.
That is so awesome. You know, people more and more, and we're believing this and we're declaring it, are going to see that you better have options beyond your job for this life as we move forward in the future, you know, and not just be a ward of anything that happens.
Yep.
You know, and that's what I'm impressed with, of course, what we're doing, and Mary, what you're doing, and of course Ron and Linda and the people on the team, is that we're positioned to take care of this group that's going to be coming, horde of people that's going to be coming our way, you know, seeking solutions, and we're going to be positioned. And you think about it, we have been thoroughly trained over the last how many years? You know, we have been tried by fire, up, down, and of course, Ron, you're the point of contact, the go-to guy for the churches, and as well as Glenn and Chantel and Mariano. You know, you guys are like the go-to people. Mariano just hit $1,000 bonus, and just signed up this gentleman who we've got a Zoom tonight with. By the way, we can do a Zoom anytime you have somebody. So, Mary, are we on for hard 1 o'clock or what?
Yes, sir.
So we can close this show and get ready for that.
Yes, sir.
Let's
Super.
do. Ron, want to close?
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the blessings of this day and being able to go forward to help people, and using the tools in this new Bean Pod program that we've got, Podbean, that we're going to be able to utilize to expand our outreach. And it's all about building your kingdom. We thank you for the opportunity to do that. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you,
Amen.
everybody, for being on the call today.
See ya.
See ya.